village had grown from 150 people to over 300 people big. Where there were no shops before, there was now two. Where there were no bars before, there was now one. The sole cause of this was the fishermen who were in this village were able to contact a trader and send them pictures of fish. When you are a trader, if you don't know if a village has fish or doesn't have fresh catch, it's not really worth your time to go there. So they smoke the fish because they don't have any electricity. So when they smoke the fish, they lose 10 times the value on the fish, if not even more, of what it's worth. So this single node that was put on one side of the village and another node that was put on the other, we saw economic transformation, and it really was the evidence that we needed that this could be big. So then we took it from there to Zanzibar, Stone Town. If any of you haven't been there, it's a really beautiful place. If you'd ever like to go there, please feel free to reach out to us. We have a great family there now in Zanzibar. And we proceeded with actually bringing our own trucks, our own people, and starting to kickstart the sharing economy there. Within 6 months, we had 15,000 paying customers on the network, and we were returning to the people's houses, to schools, to government buildings, to private buildings, anywhere from $20 to $100 a month from the revenue that was coming in. Just so it's understood, a school has a budget of around $20 a month to buy pencils and pens and the really basic things. So us bringing a budget to a school that was hosting a piece of infrastructure and powering that piece of infrastructure, we were giving 3x or 4x what they were getting. So they were very happy, and the people outside were very happy. And this happened with ice cream shops, this happened with offices, this happened with government buildings, this happened in all types of different places.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the World Mobile Alliance Community Space. My name is Rob. Up here on the stage with me, I have a camera-less Clover Nodes. Cal, how you doing?
Doing well, Rob. Doing well. I'm just getting my day started here, so apologize. No camera today. But I promise you, I look great behind it.
I bet you do. Yeah, I apologize for the delay. I was hoping to actually get a video up there with some video from Colombia, but I was having some technical issues just before the space. So I thought, well, showing a video of how World Mobile helps people is important regardless of where it's at. So we use the Africa fishing village video, which I thought was fairly appropriate as well. But we got a packed space here. We got some special guests that I want to introduce. First and foremost, I would like to bring up our good friend Micky, aka Mr. Telecoms. You know him as the CEO of World Mobile, as well as his brother Josh Watkins, the CEO of Minutes Network. So let's bring Micky and Josh onto the stage. Fellas, how are you doing today?
Hi, Rob. I'm very good. How are you?
Doing well. What's going on?
Is my World Mobile logo on backwards, or is that just mirrored for me?
I see your silhouette with a black only background. The image is kind of small at the moment, the way the screen is shaped.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Nice to be here, pleasure to be here. It's a shame that we are here today, though, because of the disaster that's happened in Colombia. Thousands and thousands of people injured, hundreds dead, hundreds still missing. And the purpose and the reason that we're here is because we have an awesome community that reached out and asked if we could support and we could help. And we, of course, said, yes, we can. And you, amongst others, have volunteered to go out there. Christian Rees is preparing all of the equipment. There was conversations late into the night last night. We'll be taking over some Starlinks. We'll be taking over some Wi-Fi pass points, and we'll be doing the best we can to connect the disconnected and give them a lifeline. I think Minutes Network is also making a donation as well. So we'll hear from that from Josh. And yeah, so it's always a pleasure to be here with you. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's just, and it's a pleasure to be able to rally the community, to be able to support as much as they possibly can for such a disaster that's happened. But the disaster itself is absolutely terrible. And we pray for those lives that have not been yet found. And we pray for those souls that have been lost.
Absolutely. Well said. And yeah, we have a lot of things to discuss. But before we do that, Josh, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Rob. I'm very well. Again, it's a sad meeting to take place for the right reasons. Very sad to see everything that's happening in Colombia. Obviously, very happy to step in where we can, even if it's a small effort. Everybody does a small effort, makes a larger effort combined, right? So, from Minutes Network side, we do have a local POP in Colombia that will be providing low latency telecommunications, voice, potentially SMS via Wi-Fi. So that's national and international, and of course we'll be not charging for that service. So obviously happy to help where we can, and glad to see that we have a very caring community in that sense. I think it's a brilliant initiative. Thank you, Rob and Mickey and the rest of the team.
Absolutely. And speaking of community, I want to bring up the folks that some of you may know and some of you may be meeting for the first time, but this was a community-driven effort to get this ball rolling, get this idea going, and it started off with Sergio and also with Camilo, and I want to bring them up on the stage and introduce them to everyone. So Sergio, first how are you doing, man?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on, and yeah, doing great. Can't complain.
Love to hear a little bit about just your involvement with the World Mobile community and how long you've been doing that, just for people that maybe don't know you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for who doesn't know, like I said, I'm Sergio Gordon, one of the community members. Been involved with the World Mobile for a couple of years now. I wish I could consider myself an OG, but I can't, and that's okay. But I've definitely been here for a while, and it's just been incredible to see the impact that World Mobile has had here locally. I'm obviously a World Mobile user, as well as abroad. And anytime that I've seen stories and testimonials from people around the world that that are making an impact has just been incredible. And so, anytime I invest, my resources, my time, my money, I want to make sure that it's going to a great place. And I cannot think of a better company with a better mission like World Mobile. And so rewind a couple months ago, my good friend Camilo, who we're both here based in Dallas, Texas, hit me up and he's like, hey, I want to, I know you're in the space and I want to invest some money. And I'm like, dude, I got exactly what you need. And I shared the mission of World Mobile and what the opportunities were and what that looked like. And he's like, dude, let's do it. It sounds great. And rewind to probably last Thursday, Camilo hit me up and he's like, hey man, he's like, my family in Colombia is obviously I'm having a hard time getting a hold of them. I can't contact my parents. I can't contact my brother who's there. The entire community is just like kind of, is kind of struggling with being able to communicate with loved ones wherever they are, even there locally. And so I was like, man, it's like that's crazy to hear. And it was actually his idea. He's like, hey, is there something that World Mobile could do? He's like, I know you kind of shared with me what they've done in the past in the Philippines and other countries. He's like, do you think this is something that they could, add value here? And I'm thinking like, I mean, dude, like this is exactly right up their alley. I know they've done something similar in the past. I was like, the least I could do is reach out to Micky and the team and see if this is something that they'd be up for. And kind of already knowing, I said, hey, Camilo, just a heads up. World Mobile has a lot going on right now, with the role in the USA and in the Philippines frontier air nodes. I was like, there's probably a good chance that we probably won't make this able to happen, but at least we can do is ask, and the worst thing they can say is no. So I shot a message to Micky, I think on like Wednesday or Thursday, and of course, Micky being Micky was like, absolutely, like, let's do it. However we can do it, let's help. Let's jump on a call. Literally less than 24 hours later, we jump on a call with the local government there in Colombia and with the mayor, and we pretty much just kind of share what the need was. We share what World Mobile is and how they could add value. And literally the past 72 hours, we've been kind of scrambling in a way of trying to figure out how we could add value as quickly as possible. And so I'll kind of pause there and just say that obviously we're very grateful just for even if World Mobile was not able to help, just the willingness to say, hey, like whatever we can do financially, physically, And the fact that we're trying to now get people on a plane and resources out there less than a week is just mind blowing. You can't think of any other really company out there in the telecom side that is willing to jump on a short notice and add value and really make an impact to the lives around the world like World Mobile is. And so it's just been a really incredible testament. I'm so excited to be a part of the community. This is just the icing on top. I say I'm shocked, but I'm really not, because I just know this is who the team is, and this is exactly why I've been here for a couple of years now. So I'm excited to share more about it.
It's awesome. And Camilo,
nice words, Sergio. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it just shows what our community is made up of and the people it's made up of. And without shilling World Mobile here, because that's not the purpose, but how dynamic and how much utility World Mobile ecosystem has that we can just get up and go. Thank you for everything you said, and thank you for being an awesome community member. I think I scared away Camilo as well.
Cal's having some issues too. He's on his phone, and apparently the streaming with all the different things happening at once is a little too much. So he's going to try and get to the office and jump back in. So we have Charles Barnett here on the stage. Charles, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I just wanted to say what an amazing job everyone's done coming together, and what a testament it is to the community. And I mean, we obviously have shown what World Mobile is made of in the past through the various activities we've done in disaster relief. But this time, we're giving the tools to the community and to the Alliance to go and do this themselves without needing a whole World Mobile crew. And for me, that's the most exciting part, because this is really giving the chance for community to show that all they need is a little bit of direction, and the rest is on them.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a Christian Reese led initiative. He's obviously the node master as far as installs and the hardware, as well as the spectrum, knowing how to get everything set up. So definitely it'll be a learning opportunity for everybody that's going as well. But it'll be great to be able to work with Christian and then just watch the community take action. So Camilo, I want to go to you. We got an introduction from Sergio about how you came into World Mobile and your thoughts. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about maybe your connection to the area that we're going down in Colombia, and kind of what the need is right now, because I think most people have seen some sort of a video or news about the earthquake. They know that there's some terrible things that have happened, but if you could just provide some detail as to maybe what happened and what the need is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I want to start with saying a huge thank you to this community. It's deeply personal to me, and I was, praying for about 4 days. I couldn't get a hold of my parents in the area they're in. I had somebody text me saying, "Hey, they're safe, but we don't have any electricity. We don't have any internet, so just know they're fine." And for 4 days, I was just like praying to God that they were okay, that my family down in Cali, which is the main city too, was fine. And as I was praying, asking God, how can I help from the U.S., that's when I thought about Sergio, thought about World Mobile. And I said, hey, I know this is a long shot because this is a global company, and I'm sure they have many things going on, but I would love to see if this is something that they will be willing to do. And to see that you guys and the whole community was able to jump in like this, I'm still like somebody pinched me. I couldn't believe this was actually happening. Obviously, because it means the world to me, my family, but also as a Colombian who is living in the U.S., it's huge that I could be even just the smallest part, bring help and in some way. And so, in behalf of Colombia, I know obviously I'm not speaking for everybody, but on behalf of my people, we're grateful for what World Mobile and the community is doing. And then yeah, just to give you more details. So what I told Sergio is, unfortunately, unless you're looking at Colombian things, either in internet or Facebook on Instagram, a lot of people are not aware, even here in Texas where I'm at, the algorithm is not showing them. And then because of the political turmoil, we don't have a lot of news covering what's going on. And so even though you think that most of the world will know, there's still people who have no clue what's going on. So I grew up in a city called Cali. It's a big city, but there's at least four major cities that have been affected. Hundreds of buildings have fallen apart with people inside of those buildings. The earthquake happened at 7 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken, and so it still caught a lot of people at home and schools. In the town where my parents currently live, the downtown, it's pretty much very much affected, and so local governments are still having issues with connecting in between them, knowing where to go to rescue and things of that nature, and so there's a lot of people that are grieving while simultaneously trying to be part of the help. I will say, I don't know if the news will show this, but the Colombian people have stood up to the plate, and they're helping each other, which is amazing to see. Obviously, unfortunately, there's still vandalism and things like that happening, but it's been really encouraging to see the response. And so we're just hoping we can be part of that, as well. And so I told Sergio, got to open opportunities to talk to leaders in not just my city, but a couple other cities. So there is definitely other local government that's really hoping that this mission goes well, and they're really hoping that this could be something that could be come to them near them to be a solution as well in towns and areas where there's still not connectivity or any connection in between them. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
So right now there's a plan for Camilo, you, Sergio, another one of your friends locally here in the U.S., as well as Christian Reese, and then I actually jumped on as well, kind of last minute, trying to get down there. So the plan is to head down, scout sites where the best implementation will be for placing some devices, and then connecting as much of the area as possible, and then obviously with Christian going down um, to set everything up, and then the team can be there to assist in that realm, as well as I'm sure there's gonna be other things going on that maybe there's some needs and people need help with, and so I'm sure there'll be a lot of things going on. Mickey, you've overseen one major disaster relief effort via World Mobile in the past in North Carolina. So you have a little bit of experience, quarterbacking and calling the shots and making sure things are in place. What can you tell us about this situation and what the way World Mobile views it, what World Mobile is trying to do here?
Yeah, first of all, Rob, Camilo, it must be an extremely hard time for you and your family, and I would not want that for anybody to go through that. So well done for staying strong, well done for staying brave, and well done for staying logical to actually make a difference, because it's easy to be, in those circumstances, it's easy to be a rabbit in the headlights where you just freeze because you don't know what to do. And again, Sergio, thank you for reaching out to us to offer this opportunity. So Hurricane Helene is what we're known for in terms of emergency response, but the fires that were in California recently, both Charles Barnett and Emmanuel Gratch spent 4 or 5 days supporting connectivity there. We didn't document it. There's not things we do because we feel that they should be documented, but if it's community driven, it definitely should be, because that's what we're about. We've also helped in Jamaica. We've also helped in other places previously. And I think that if you've got the ability to be able to help, you should. And that's what's beautiful about World Mobile. It's people, it's sharing economy. It's able to come together through good and through bad, and to be able to make a difference. And I have to say that there's not many projects that can do that. And now Minutes Network coming in, I think they're giving tens of thousands of dollars worth of call credit to Colombians that won't be able to call abroad and locally, and they'll be able to use our Wi-Fi hotspots. I had wished we could go out there with a better spectrum where we could connect, but the timing, and given that we're not an MNO in Colombia yet, we're not really able to do anything. But we will be taking a couple of different radios out there, setting those up, and working with Camilo and Sergio and the local administration to ignite those, not literally, excuse me, but to light them up and to broadcast. And I think one of the things that we're looking forward to as well is a future in Colombia. And after speaking to the mayor, my Spanish, as Clover will tell you, is very good. After speaking to the mayor, it was clear that if we come to help, he will also support us with a future rollout in Colombia, maybe in Cali itself. And that's exciting for the future. But that's not what we're here today to talk about. We're here today to talk about the support that we can give and the help that we want to give. And we will actually be sending across one of the OGs of World Mobile, who now supports Minutes Network as well, Marcus Valence. And he will be documenting all of this. Nothing is pre-scripted, nothing is there. We'll be uploading that ideally live every day from our own areas so we can keep the community informed. And then, of course, afterwards, our internal team will make a video documenting the power of community. And that's what this is. And I thank God and I thank the community members who are here who make us so strong, because together we're literally unstoppable. And although I say that, it's not a slogan, it's not a motto, it's a reality. And we're only going to see that more and more and more.
So what?
Rob?
Oh, sorry. Yep.
I said, were you looking for the mute button? Yeah.
I was looking for something. Yeah. I was just kind of curious, Micky and Josh, maybe you can describe a little bit about what goes into setting up towers, pushing signal, connecting via the minutes. Just how does that work for a place that maybe has been hit and there's a shortage, there's no towers, there's no spectrum, and now you're all of a sudden trying to bring something in to connect people? Like what's the technical process for that?
We have to go with what we can go with, and we know what is legal. We do our research. We've already spoken to the regulator. As I said, we've already spoken to the mayor. We don't know what we're going to face when we come onto the ground there. We don't know whether there's electricity or not, so we need to do backup batteries as well, potentially, and solar. Ideally not, because it takes a little bit longer to source those things, but if we have to, we absolutely will, and we know how to. And then you need to put the routers, which have around a 500-meter range. They're very powerful outdoor Wi-Fi routers. And then you have pass points. So we'll be speaking to Claro and the other mobile network operators to ensure that their customers don't have to jump onto the pass points in a way that they have to fiddle around with the password. They just seamlessly get onto the network. And then it's, of course, bringing that across to the World Mobile chain. But as soon as we plug those in, all that magic happens. That's the years of building that we've done. So in this case, the bravery of the people going out there, Christian Rees, Camilo, Sergio, that's probably the hardest part. For us, this is really seamless. You saw North Carolina, you saw other places. If we had an MNO, or we were an MNO in Colombia right now, we'd be going out there with much larger radios, potentially even Titans, or something similar, so that we could get 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers of coverage and range. But we can only do what we can do in this stage. But as we develop our relationship there, and depending on how quickly the infrastructure comes back, we'll be in consistent communications with the local government, and we'll be speaking to the regulator directly to set up either a sandbox or an environment where we can start to spread out and use spectrum that's free, or work with other mobile operators to bring the spectrum.
And then from
Josh, he just needs a very low latency, nice network in order to be able to connect the Minutes Network ecosystem directly to that, so then people can either dial from the web or dial from the mobile application, or dial from.
Absolutely, we'll make sure that a web dialer is available to everybody, as well as an APK. And that's direct SIP connection within Colombia, so that we're as fast as possible and the quality is as excellent as possible. It's a very quick setup from our point of view, and we're very happy to help. It's sad to hear your story, Camilo, and sad for all of the people out there. So happy to do what we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what is a mission like this, like time-wise? What does that look like? Are we talking turnaround time on the ground? What's the idea there?
for us, I mean, all of the connectivity and communication travels over the internet. So as long as we have those air nodes or Titans, as Micky said, or whatever the technology you're going to be using out there, as long as the residents and the people have that connectivity to provide the telephony services, I mean, outbound and essentially inbound is extremely easy. It's extremely quick, and it's a matter of, you know, just a day or so to actually have this set up entirely.
Yeah, and this it's a little bit longer for us because we have to, you know, if we didn't have this particular equipment we don't need Starlink in America. So in the American offices, you know, we may have 1 or 2 units there. So it's a matter of getting in those Starlinks. It's a matter of making sure that we've got those routers available, the leads. It's Christian Reese's time. He's the hero here when it's coming to packing it all together, just like he was in Hurricane Helene. And then he just needs to jump on an airplane and land. And then I think Camilo and Sergio are taking care of the rest. The guys are going to get picked up with security. They're going to drive to wherever's needed. They know the locations. Rob, we're going to be heavily relying on you as well for organization support and muscle to be able to do these things. But Chris is very quick, and this kind of setup can be done really quick. Mobile network operators typically know, you know, they've got to do a whole bunch of things. But for us, we're a new age mobile network operator. We're not the legacy, so we can just deploy and off we go. Again, I'll be arguing and speaking to the regulator and borrowing the ear of Camilo in order to be able to try and get licensed spectrum out there, and then we'll jump back on an airplane if we need to or if we can, and then go and deploy some licensed spectrum out there as well. And that would be a nice footprint into a more equitable mobile network operator in South America. But again, I don't want this to be seen as we're taking an opportunity. We're not. We're just the same. I always talk about evolution, right? So we go there, we help. If there is a future in Colombia, I'd love that. If there's not, we're just joyful to be able to provide some help with our community and to make sure that people can communicate, because communication is a disaster. And you heard Camilo's story there. You know, he couldn't speak to his family for 3 or 4 days. Like, it's crazy in this modern day. Of course, when Stratomaster's up and flying, we would just divert one, and then 12 hours later, 6 hours later, there would be complete coverage over Colombia. However, right now we can't do that. So we use the tools that we've got, and we'll do the best that we possibly can, and as fast as we can.
So, Micky, you talked about timelines and deployment. Now, what is the cost that goes with that? Both the internal cost. You talked about Josh donating tens of thousands of dollars worth of minutes to make connectivity happen. There's a cost. Some of it's dollar amount, some of it's man hours. Like what does this look like for World Mobile and Minutes Network? What are you guys? What are you thinking in that route, and where does that money all come from?
First of all, I will personally donate towards the mission to support. I also think it's great if we can also, like we did with Jenny, and we were able to support her with her house. There's a lot of kids out there that have really suffered. So it's taking some sweets and some nice things to make them feel at least that somebody cares about them in this time of disaster where they're feeling so terrible and maybe have lost things that they love, right? Their houses, their pets, their family, their friends. So we'll do what we can in order to put a smile on the kids' faces out there. But in terms of costs, you know, the infrastructure is probably anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000 dollars. Then there's Christian Rees. There is no cost. He's priceless. So he's going out there because he cares, and he's got a bunch of stuff to do with the rest of the Reno team and the USA team. So he's got to juggle what he's doing. And then there's the upkeep of the infrastructure itself. Camilo is also supporting with, I think, accommodation for the team with his family. So that's a really amazing aspect of it. But I guess all in, you know, I'll donate something, and then there'll be around a $10,000 cost to World Mobile for delivering this. And I would say for Josh, for Minutes Network, was probably about a $20,000 cost of what he's going to be donating there. So probably about $30,000, $35,000. And then Sergio and Camilo's are kindly, they're flying themselves on their own budgets, on their own costs. So that's their contribution as well. And I know you are as well, Rob. So we very much appreciate that. But it's a mission. It's not something that's $1,000 mission. It's a mission. And there's a lot of thought that needs to go into it, a lot of security planning, a lot of coordination, a lot of quick last minute things. You know, Christian, I called him and said, right, you're going to go to Colombia? He was like, okay, I'll be there. Right. So it's like, yeah, but he's got to then juggle around some things and give those to Anthony and then give those to John in the office and Dave and a few others and balance it out. So for everybody, it's just scrambling. But that's not really much different than World Mobile's daily life anyway, because we're doing so much there. It's just to hear the difference is that, you know, it's an acute pain because our community members, families are suffering. And there's a lot of people that we don't know that are suffering, and it's something that we should do and fix.
Absolutely. And, you know, you asked us to put out as the Alliance some opportunities to raise some community funds for this. We've done this with Manny, the taxi driver in India, helping him pay off some predatory loans and getting him on his feet. We've done this with North Carolina, with trying to help people out, including the gal that you mentioned. We help buy her house because she lost everything. And so we know that the community has come forward and is very, very generous as well with their time and their funds previously. And we know that, like you said, there is a cost with this. And so what we've done at the Alliance with at your request was we put out 2 wallets. One is a US or EVM wallet that you know, if you want to send USDC, USDT to, we can collect funds that way. We also put out a Cardano address as well if you have Cardano or stable coins on the ADA network. And what we're doing with this, all this money is filtering back through World Mobile. The Alliance doesn't want to touch anybody's money, but we're just trying to get something done quickly because we want to be able to go and take funds if we need to distribute funds, or like you said, candies or sweets or things that people are in need of, water, blankets, anything that when we come across, we want to be able to help out in whatever way we can, not just connecting phones and Wi-Fi and connectivity. And so, like you said, there is a cost that goes with this, and we've had some people already step up and donate quite a bit, and we want to make sure that we are putting that out there. So we put a lofty goal out of $20,000, and the goal there is, even if we don't hit that, we know that there will be funds to help support people and not fill pockets. And so, very, very passionate about what
just to be clear, we don't need those funds, right? Between World Mobile, Minutes Network, Sergio, Camilo, yourself, you know, we are covering all of the expenses of that. These funds will be used in order to be able to support the people out there and keep the infrastructure up for longer than just an emergency.
Absolutely. So I put that in the show comments, the 2 different addresses if people feel like they want to support this in any way. And like we said, this is going 100% of this is going directly to the people that we encounter and the situations we encounter in Colombia. So thankful for those of you that have done that so far. We really appreciate it. So I'm sorry, Mickey and I have been talking for quite a while. Sergio, Camilo, do you guys have any thoughts? You want to jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have kind of hit on the head. I think just, you know, immense gratitude, you know, from everyone that Mickey's already mentioned. And of course, Rob, you kind of coming out last minute. I think you had just got up to speed on Monday and you're like, okay, you know, let me figure some things out and, you know, chat with the family and here you are, you know, committing to a trip to Colombia. And so just immense gratitude. I mean, anytime, especially in this industry or in general, that we invest in something, it helps to know that, you know, we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And I think this shows exactly that. You know, and then big shout out to Camilo, where, like I said, he's here locally in Texas, has family back there in Colombia. Him to be able to make the connections with the local government there. You can imagine that the government already has a ton of stuff on their table that they're trying to figure out. And it's not like the US here to where, you know, there's easy access to whoever, or you can go inside Teams and find such and such title, you know, with their number. It's not like that, unfortunately, right? So, you know, it requires a lot of back and forth with already the communication struggles that they have, he's not having to communicate back there and ensure that we have the assurances that we need from a security perspective, from the food perspective. And his family was kind enough to open up their compound to host us and the World Mobile team. That's armed, it's secure. Obviously, if we needed to, we could stay in a hotel, but obviously we want to make sure that we're allowing those resources and those hotels to be used by the local community that actually needs it. Currently, if a family, and Camila, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what Camila mentioned. She said, currently when a family comes in to this Coliseum to say, hey, we need help, we were affected, our house and our car, our village is not standing anymore. They're not saying, hey, let's go take you to this shelter over here. It's like, hey, here's a tent, here's a blanket, here's some essentials. Kind of go find the open spot or open place for you to live until we can figure things out long term. And so it's completely different than what we see here. I had a flood in my house a couple of years ago and called my insurance company. They said, yeah, no problem. Here's some money. Go find a hotel and we're good. But it's people aren't always that fortunate, in other countries. And so really just a testament to the team, to the community, to understand that, this isn't some, vacation, so to speak. We're really going there to make a big impact. And I know, like I said, Camille's been working, hours on end trying to pull connections and find connections with the Claro, which he did. And so we're getting some things established to make sure that not only are we getting people connected, but we're making sure that it's seamless, making sure that there's no roadblocks or any hurdles for them to get connected once we have that availability there. And so just to think about like the long term, it's like anytime I think about World Mobile and investing, and I think about the long-term impact, long-term solutions, even though this is not, like I said, a World Mobile pitch or anything, I'm thinking, man, there's really not very many solutions out there that can solve for these unique problems. And so, whenever we could in the future bring in StratoMast, God forbid, nothing else happens in Colombia, but around the world, if something were to happen, we have solutions that are being built today that could solve for exactly that. And so I'm sure once we're there and we see the impact, it's going to be a no-brainer to be like, I know my money is being well spent and well invested. And so, yeah, just a true testament, can't sing enough praises to the World Mobile team and the community, more importantly, for you guys to rally behind us and to get behind something, so special. And we see the comments, we see the threads, we see the messages in the channels on Telegram saying that, we're praying for you guys, our thoughts and prayers with you guys. However you guys are able to support, just know that it's greatly appreciated. And we're just grateful for us to play this small part in getting out there. And so, Camila, I don't know if you want to say anything, but that's my heart.
Yeah, no, again, I just want to thank everybody in this community. It's not very often that you start a conversation from an economical standpoint. I just called Sergio because he's my smartest friend that I have. And I said, hey, I have a little money. I need to invest. What do you think? Whatever you say, I'll put it in there. And then he told me about World Mobile and what you guys are doing. And I automatically was like, let's do it. And that was even before, I think it was a couple of weeks before this earthquake happened. And to me now, I see it almost like an answer to prayer because it's now turning to, there's not many companies or organizations that I can see, that will jump in on something like this, right? Or there's a lot of them that might preach it or say it, but, to see you guys jump on this and again, like I said earlier, it's almost like, is this actually true? Or, is this just like all, but to see just the commitment to stand behind what you guys said you believe, for me is like you automatically have me as an ambassador of World Mobile, right? Like there's so many people I'm telling already, and they're like, how do we do it? How do we jump in? How can we help? And it's just cool to see that. And then also in Colombia, I've never spoken to a mayor in my life, and in the last 4 days, spoken to 3 different ones in the country, and just to see how the doors are opening and how interested they are in how this could be hopefully a future, a future solution to the problems that we're having. I think it's just unbelievable to know that we're going to get to be part of that, and then we're excited. They're actually waiting for us to come in and start and say, hey, if this goes well and you guys want to, have the bandwidth or the time, maybe not right now, but in the near future, obviously this is going to be months of rebuilding my country, months of trying to get things back on track. So I think World Mobile is going to play a very awesome role in that process. So anyways, thank you for just, for responding, for saying yes to this. And from the bottom of my heart and my family, and I know anybody in Colombia that who might see this, thank you for what you guys are doing.
I want to say as well, thank you. I'm humbled to have such a community, and I'm humbled to be able to offer this and to support this and to see everything that we've built come to the ability to actually be able to help people. I know we always talk about World Mobile, when token, when this, when that, but when a disaster, we're there. And I'm humbled that you've given us that opportunity. Again, without the community, we're nothing. I must drop off in the next minute or so, but I think, Rob, anyway, you're wrapping up. If there's any questions, please jump them into the chat. I'll answer anything that's there. And I think Sergio and Camilo, if you're not already in the chat, Telegram chat, please be so. And we're going to get this done, and we're going to go out there and support, and we're going to go out there and make sure that you, the community, can see that. And again, any donation will be gratefully accepted and will be then shared amongst the people that need it the most. But equally, if you can't donate, we fully understand. World Mobile and Minutes Network stand behind this, and the community going out there stand behind this too. And we're going to get this job done, and we're going to go and make sure that we put some smiles on people's faces and allow loved ones to speak to each other and allow professionals to be able to do their jobs.
Absolutely. I wanted to point out, just as far as the donations go, what people will see publicly so far is that there's over $750 in those crypto wallets that we posted that have been donated over the last day and a half so far. And we're getting people reaching out saying they're gonna be sending some as well. But what you're not going to see is we have a private donor. It's a company that hasn't formally announced or launched yet, called DeepinFin, and they have pledged $6,000 to this thing. So we'll be learning more about them soon, who they are, what they're building here on the World Mobile chain. But they've reached out and said that they have $6,000 they want to give towards this mission. And again, not only are they a startup, they haven't even launched yet, but they're passionate about this and they're part of the community. So that's amazing that we're getting these funds from all over the place, and we're very, very thankful for that. Josh, do you have any closing thoughts as we start to wrap this up?
Look, I think it's excellent that people are helping each other, and it's great to see. I think in this modern world, people should be able to communicate, and companies should get involved in initiatives like this. We're very happy to see what we see, and we're very happy to provide this capacity. One of our carriers is actually giving us a discount on this particular set of capacity that's going out, so they're helping as well. It's amazing how people can come together, right? So as we say, stronger together. Thank you very much, Rob, Mickey, Camilo, Sergio. Appreciate your time. And I hope things go very smoothly for the people on the ground in Colombia from here onwards.
We pray for that. Thank you very much, community. Thank you very much, Rob, for doing this as well. You're not paid to do your job, so I very much appreciate you doing a job. And again, once and for all, together we're unstoppable, and we see that every single day. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
See y'all soon. We'll keep the updates coming as the mission happens. So reach out if you need anything.
One more quick shout out to Cal. I know he's not on here, but he's been a huge help in getting everything established with the community, with the alliance. Whenever Mickey mentioned to reach out to the team, Rob and Cal have been, they were quick to respond and say, how can we help? So big shout out to you guys, Rob specifically, and Cal. You guys are awesome. The community appreciates you guys. Wouldn't be here without y'all. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Like I said, if you guys need anything, reach out in the DMs. We'll be around. We'll be available. You know how to get a hold of Mickey. You know how to get a hold of Josh. So please feel free to reach out with anything, any thoughts, ideas, anything you need from us, and we'll continue to post updates as this progresses. So everyone, thank you so much for all you're doing to help support this, and we'll talk to everyone again very, very soon. Take care.
Thank you.